So it is equal?
In terms of what? Like
equity splits.
yo, he's heavy.
You don't have to answer this question.
Well, I just want to.
Saying yo, he's heavy, and I know it's different slang. Gotta be Ayo.
Especially with your legs crossed.
Yo, he's heavy.
He waits.
Yo, he's heavy.
You don't have to answer this question.
Well, I just want to know, because if you're bros,
You're pocket watching. Stop pocket watching.
no, because the sidemen, for example, like KSI's obviously the biggest numbers wise, but they're split equally, which I always found like really cool and noble of JJ, because he's definitely.
Also, I'm not gonna pause this. I like how he said, which I find, he started scratching and then they zoomed in on him. Really cool and noble. Man, give me that money.
You think Mike getting 50-50 of it?
Right.
the one that goes mainstream and is the lower of the group. I'd say.
He's like the most out there. You bump his song a lot too. Like
I think I have your answer by you not answering, which I understand, but I don't know. Like you, I don't know. Just be careful. It's. I'm glad you guys are.
Okay, Phantom didn't answer. We can kind of get some guesstimations. I'm not gonna answer. Well, I don't know if I have the right answer anymore. I think I have the right answer, but what do y'all think? Do y'all think A and P is split equally?
I think so.
I don't think so.
Okay, which way do you think the splits kind of lean?
I think it lean. Well, I think it will lean based off of, I guess, I don't want to say time in the group, but seniority, I guess. So like the original members, I think would have a bigger split than anyone added later than the original concept of he had to have his house full of 2K. I remember everybody remembers that. That was what AMP was originally, a bunch of 2K. So the people that was there then, I think will have a bigger percentage. I don't think it's nothing drastic though.
Okay.
I know before Kai and Chris came, because I believe they were late additions, I'm almost positive they were equal. I am interested to see, or I honestly just don't know like what they did after the fact, once Chris was introduced as a regular and once Kai obviously came into the fold. I would like to think they're equal. I don't know. Like, I don't necessarily have evidence to back that up, but I just feel like from everything I've heard from them, they have this we're all one, we're all equal, we're going to move up together type of thing when it comes to AMP. So
you are an equal ass motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie. And not even trying to be like, but just I know you, and I know like behind the scenes, you are let's just go equal. Let's just it's just easy.
Yeah.
Oh.
For equality type shit.
Oh, here he go. Damn it! I can't even really combat that.
Nah, combat it. Get your shit off.
I promise you, I can't. All right. So then, look. After that, other AMP members spoke up. Duke Dennis on his talks about equity and money splits in AMP.
Because you got to understand that AMP was made 5 years ago, 5 years ago. So, like, all of this right here, what he talking about, the splits and the equity and shit, all of that was made back then. All of that was set up and agreed upon back then. And of course, when Chris joined and then when Kai joined, boom. It is still the same.
Oh, I know the answer then.
That's how it was back then.
I know the answer.
So the agreement we made back then is still the exact same right now. And nobody was that big. Nobody was bigger than nobody when we first made it.
Now, I'm going to pause it here. The reason why Duke is answering this question in this specific way is because after that sentiment was pushed or that conversation was had on the Impulsive episode, there were rumblings and conversations as to what fans would do. And I'm saying fans because that's the perspective that they're coming from. This is what this fan would do. This is what this fan would do. And they are gauging it based off of today and who should have the most today and why they should have the most today and why some others should be lesser.
You understand? So it's the exact same. And it's the exact same because it don't matter who got what. It don't matter who the biggest. Nobody is bigger than the group. That's why it has not changed and it never will change. You know what I'm saying? Like the same way, like obviously Kai is the biggest. But at one point, Agent and Davis was bigger than Kai. You know what I'm saying? But just because Agent was bigger than Kai, that don't mean Kai get less. Nigga, it's we all own the group collectively.
Okay. Thoughts on that before I read what some of the fans were saying based off of what Duke said.
Oh, well, based off of what he just said to me, I'm gonna switch my answer then. It sounds like it's even splits then, or as even as possibly can be in that situation. Sounds like it was even splits. Once they added people, maybe either broke it down another way or worked the way out to pay people based off of whatever they decided to do. But it sounded as more even than everyone had different rates.
I do wonder if this is just like a thing that they did because this is just the norm type of thing, or this is like a deliberate thing that they did from the beginning to make it equal. Like if there were conversations initially of should this be even type shit, but I don't know, because I feel like a lot of things in business we kind of just do because it's standard. We're gonna start a business, 3 of us, split it equally 3 ways type shit, but I don't know.
Well, I tell you what. I don't think it really matters for us. It's to the two. Look at Damo's face. Well, B-Souls, Damo, especially because I came on last. How is Let's Keep It a Buck split?
Equally.
Why?
Because originally when we first made the podcast, everything was agreed upon for whatever deals we had, like the locker room deal, for example. We just always had the concept of we're doing this evenly because we're a group.
Yeah, it's a collective effort. We're all working on it together. Going grow equally and distribute equally.
Cool. Now with what you know, was that the right thing to do? And if you could go back, would you do it differently?
I will say I still think it's the right thing to do. Would I go back and do things differently? Yes. But would I go back and change things being distributed equally? No.
Oh wow. Why? Well, go ahead. Go ahead, B-Sis. No, go ahead, B-Sis.
I'm about to say, from our ownership, maybe how we did payouts, I'll definitely do differently. But in terms of ownership, I wouldn't change it, because I feel like the whole practicality of this person contributes X amount, so they gotta get a proportional percentage. It sounds reasonable on paper, but in actuality, like what Duke said, like different months people are gonna contribute differently. Different years people are gonna contribute differently. Like when AMP started, Asian was probably the main guy, then maybe Duke, then Davis, then Kai. But obviously now the ratios have completely changed. So are you just gonna change the agreement, I don't know, like every 3-4 months, which you could do, but I don't know. I like to keep things simple. So
Okay, that's fair. So there's a tweet.
hold on, what would you do?
I would not do things equally. Somebody should have a deciding percentage in decision making. It get basically an executive power percentage, and even if that means like, everybody. All right, it's 4 of us, so everybody gets 25%. But there's one person, maybe 2 people, that get the 0.333. That'll help. Is that the right math? I think that's the right math.
I think for that, the
100 divided by 3?
0.25 in there or something. It's 4.
What's 100 divided by 3?
3.
Well, you did 100 divided by 4, so then that would be evenly 25. But if you did 100 divided by 3,
Well, no, I'm saying the other 3 members would have to give up a certain percentage to give the other person 1%.
Yeah, it
more.
would be.
It's 100 divided by 3, so 33 or 0.333.
Yeah.
And then you times that by 3, and that will give that other person that other 1%. So somebody's gonna have 26. Everybody else gonna have like 24 points,
whatever.
Blah,
Yeah.
blah. All right, cool. So yeah, the reason why I say that is because there's certain decision making that should be done, and then I think that there are situations in which decisions need to be made, but it's not so easy to do it if it's not set up a certain way. Plus, people should be kicked out, and people should be able to, renegotiate and all that stuff. And to be honest with you, I would sign people on as contractors. If this is my original IP, I would sign people on as contractors.
Instead of ownership.
Yeah, instead of ownership. Like, now, I get the reason why somebody would give up ownership if you bring super that much to the table. Like if I don't know, if we were able to get like Gilbert Arenas or something. I'm trying to think of a big podcaster. Yeah, we'd give Gilbert Arenas some ownership. It's just what he could bring to the table. But like, you found me on the streets. You found Sage at X amount of subs. I would have just said, hey, y'all are contractors.
I mean, but at the time, the positions that y'all were in, I mean, it still was something that could have helped out the group compared to what we had. We went from, again, the perspective you're saying, and we're just going to do one-to-ones. If we're replacing Justin with Sage, we went from Justin, who was someone who had no aspiration in content creation at all, and the pod was just, hey, kicking it, chatting, to Sage, who is a content creator and an aspiring content creator. He's trying to grow, and that would do more for us. With you, we replace Wordu with you. I mean, Wordu wanted to be a content creator, had aspirations and had drive to do things. In my opinion, for the pod, you have drive to do things, and your drive was just better than Wordu's. You were able to put. I'm being real, and I was about to have a comment about the Phantom and Jake Paul thing, but I'm just being real, just for the podcast and what was going on. The shit that she was able to do was just better, and it put us in a better situation.
But the only thing that I would say as a rebuttal before we continue on is, was it necessary to give up ownership to get me?
At that time, yeah.
I would say I disagree.
You say that we ain't had no money to give you. We ain't had nothing to give you.
I didn't need money. I would have did it. We was kicking it at first. It was cool.
Well, yeah, that first 10-day contract, yeah. But then if there was, like we noticed, there was actual work that had to be done for us to grow, you weren't about to freelance it. There had to be something.
I'm being honest with you. I would have did it with no ownership. We just doing it for fun, and we just trying to do this thing to make it better. Yeah, I would have did it.
Well, to be fair, I don't even want to get into the legalities, but
go get into it. This is what we hit a pod.
Okay.
We just weren't.
We operate on some, like, we operate equally, but the LLC is like just you.
Oh, he trying to get okay.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, this
now I can't pod. Now I can't pod.
No.
Now I can't pod.
Hey, Pesos. Hey,
now
pod.
I can't pod.
Hey, we here now, pod.
Nah, he dared me. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not doing this without. You're not a contractor. You got it.
No, I would have
0.33%, right? Right, Sauce? He got it.
Saying. Actually, right now,
I don't need 0.33.
It's actually 100 0
I don't need 0.3 nothing.
We really be.
Oh, I gotta send you my W-9 tomorrow.
Hey,
what are you talking about?
Hey, Souls, he right. Let's negotiate. Well, let's negotiate.
I'm saying.
I don't need 0.3 now.
Yeah. Let me get my share. Man.
Facts. Damn. Bring me on as a contractor then.
I do this as a contractor. You don't. We're the contractors.
Okay.
We're the contractors.
Okay. Chat, they forfeited their shares. No, let me say.
All right,
Wow.
Wow.
All right. I can't wait to really pause.
So these are the comment. This is the comment section. Oh shit. This is the comment section of after that Duke video, after the Duke Dennis video. This woman says, this doesn't mean anything though. Kai has lapped and eclipsed them by 10x. If Kai is literally carrying the group, why wouldn't he get more? Say that, or at that point, you're just leeching off Kai's name. Response says, you could say the same thing when Kai first joined AMP, but it would be true. No, it's because they all recognize that they were built up from each other's hard work and will continue to do so. So it's just stupid to try to make it like they are just using each other. Her response, why should the least performing member get the same amount of bread? LOL. Like, how does Chris deserve the same amount as Kai? They obviously put in different amounts of effort. Let me respond. Honestly, this is from somebody who just got into AMP. Full stop. Just got into AMP. And also doesn't know anything about content creation. There's a really, really good argument that, especially in the beginning, when there was no Kai, because there was a Chris before there was a Kai. Now, if we're talking about on-camera presence, that's a different conversation. But if we're talking about Chris's value add to the video,
They could have found a way to fucking replace him.
Top 2, top 3. There, I can get, be like Bezos just said, I promise you. Not in a malicious way. There were conversations about replacing him. Dog, it was impossible.
I agree. I was there.
We remember.
I can confirm that. That is not a rumor.
So yeah, you can't just. I think that's why that is. And I will also say stuff like this is why group content does not succeed. This is why group content doesn't succeed. Is because somebody is worried about the recognition and the splits in these conversations. And what Aiden is gonna say really is like my real point, but. This is what I'm talking about being in. She's terrible for a group,
But she's not even. I don't even think she's just not getting into AMP. She's just not getting into Kai, and knows he's a part of AMP at this point. She knows of AMP niggas, but she's in the Kai because that's just an ignorant statement in my opinion. That's just not even. I don't even call it ignorant. That's just. Well, no, that's ignorant because you don't know what you're talking about.
Listen, NBA Christmas is around the corner, meaning there's a bunch of NBA games to watch. And I know some of y'all still like hoops. Maybe not all of y'all, but some of y'all.
Jingle bells, 80s bells, briny laden egg. PrizePicks offers weekly promotions that could really increase those payouts, like Taco Tuesday. PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to add even more value. PrizePicks is real simple, y'all. We've got different sports at the top, and within each different sport, we have a bunch of different categories that you think your favorite player or the player of your choice will perform in. You go in, you click more, you click less, make sure that they're on 2 different teams. You type in how much you want to put on the entry, and then once you're satisfied, you're going to hit submit lineup, and boom, you're in the game.
Hopefully I don't get called in my PrizePicks wallet, and shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. But I think that's the argument for doing shit equally, is to avoid those conflicts of, I only get 13% anyways. I ain't gonna put as much effort. Like, I think the reason for equal splits is ideally equal accountability and equal work, regardless of, like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I came into this company with more cachet than you. We're building this together. We gonna put in the same amount of work equally. Now, I will say this: I don't think there's ever been a project ever that's been like equal, like truly. If you want to break it down to the decimal, whatever. There's never been a group project with 3, 4, 5. I know a lot of y'all have been in school projects before. There's never been a 50-50 split.
I was going to ask you that.
33.
What do you do when you're in that group? And again, you talk about us. You talk about your other group souls and say you talk about whatever. It's up to you. I'm just letting you do. What do you do though when? And remember when y'all wanted to give away equity to? Shouts out to Rudy, man.
Yo, he really trying to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Y'all remember? But y'all did. Okay. What do you do when somebody who has equal equity doesn't come up to snuff? They don't perform to the portion that they, because that's us now. We can pot.
Wait, what do you, maybe I heard the question wrong. What do you do when someone who doesn't have what do you do when someone who doesn't have the same amount of equity?
No, they do have the same amount of equity
and they don't perform.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna say, for anybody who feels shit should be distributed equally, you should also be willing to address and be accountable for when the work isn't being distributed equally. And when I said, would I go back and do things differently? Yeah, that's something I would do differently from the start. Is I would have definitely put in more work to match y'all to, just talking about us, but to make it justify for being 50-50 25, 25, 25, whatever the case is. If it's going to be distributed equally, you should work as evenly as possible. So when someone isn't meeting that criteria, they should be able to be called out, and people should hold them accountable. It shouldn't just get to a boiling point. You shouldn't get used to dumb shit. Everyone should be able to speak up when they are noticing shit needs to change.
Yeah, I think the first thing that needs to happen is open dialogue about it. Like, I wouldn't talk behind motherfuckers' back and already go to the lawyers. All right, we got to change splits up. This dude just, hey man, he's contributing 28% instead of the 33 that we agreed to. Yeah, I think open dialogue is definitely the way you start it, and then hopefully over time, motherfuckers just hold themselves accountable and there's actual change that gets happened. But I also think from the people asking for the change, again, I just think it's unrealistic, knowing just the nature of group projects, to always expect equal activity, because that's just not realistic. That's just not realistic to me.
Plus, I don't even think people. Well, based off of the comments that I've seen around this whole conversation, I don't even think people understand what equity is or what that means on paper and reality. Who is assessing every 3 months people's contributions and then physically going to change that paperwork behind it?
Yeah, because you also, I think there's also a difference between contribution and impact, right? Like, I think you can be more impactful to the company but not do more work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, let's say Kai wasn't involved in the behind the scenes meetings at all. He really just focused on his own streams, grew the brand that he is, and now you can make the argument that he is the most valuable guy on AMP, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's doing the most work behind the scenes. That could be Davis for all we know. That could still be Chris. So now, how do you have that conversation? How do you quantify who deserves what split in that regard?
Especially when we're talking about the direct project. Like, Kai is big building his star, and I'm not gonna take away from the fact that it does trickle back into the group. But at the same time, when we're talking about this actual project, okay, we got employees to pay, videos to create, locations to get, props to get, scripts to write, all this other stuff. And your contribution is, well, I'm famous over here and I'm also a part of this. Now, how does that get the final project done? I don't know. But again, at the same time, I don't think people like even logically think to themselves like, yo, we're going to assess this. We're going to go change the splits on paper. That just sounds so stupid. So then Agent had this very interesting portion to add to it. And this is ultimately where I lie. And me and him might not even be aligned on this, but I find this interesting.
Bro, just so everybody knows, we barely make any money off AMP. All of us. Because every single time we do, we just opt to put it back into the business. Every single time we do, we put it back into the business. And it's been growing. That's how you grow. That's why we've been able to do more fire shit. Because you don't get crazy penthouses in New York by taking big payouts. Well, we would love to get to that point, obviously, but we just don't. 3 jets, yo, Bang paid for it. It was just W Bang. Bang was like, bro, you need let's make it happen. It's just W Bang. No cap. I think people use this like as opportunities to like divide people, which is why I don't like talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to try and create like friction and drama between us. When, like, first of all, it's nobody's business. Bro, just so everybody.
Oh shit. Yeah, I think to me, I think why also AMP is strong is because individually the ones that want to create content are strong. So they're not so hyper focused into the business. I tweeted out, group channels aren't money making endeavors. They really aren't. As like for your individual perspective, they aren't. Group channels, group projects, group things are used to build your brand, and then from there you go out and make yourself as an individual contributor. Now, at some point, you would hope that this becomes so big that you profit off of it massively. But for the most part, this is just growing your brand. You could think of anything that has been in a group, whether it be AMP, RDC, Too Hype. Well, actually, I take it back. RDC is actually a different thing, and that's what makes RDC interesting. Too Hype. You could think of any rap music group, Slaughterhouse, Outkast, You could think of any project like they're building a software or a app like Facebook or whatever the case may be. They're not profiting. They're not benefiting until you get to the way end. And the way end might not even ever even come, right? Until you get to this end where you are, we're good enough. I can break off and sell back, and then, so-and-so can have more ownership, and I could just go live off in La La Land because we've made so much money, like some of the people at Facebook and Microsoft did, Steve Ballmer and him. Or you just keep riding it out. Ain't no money in this. I'm be honest with you.
Yeah, I think ownership is more so like a power control thing in most cases, because I feel like if y'all think, like, let's just say Dan Clancy owns 15% of Twitch. If y'all think every single month the revenue comes in and Dan Clancy just nets home 15% of the revenue so he can spend it on cards, like, that's not how that works. He owns 15% of the company, but how he gets paid is probably still on the payroll. He is probably still on his own payroll. The LLC may not even be under his name. And he gets paid a flat amount. Like, that's probably how that works. That's how a lot of businesses work, because just revenue wise and the way you run the business, it just makes sense to pay people out a set amount, and then the rest of the overhead, you just put it back into the business, and then you hopefully grow the value of the business overall, so that, like what Omar says, you get to a point where you may sell it at some point. You may sell your shares at some point, and that's when you make your money. But as you're operating it, most motherfuckers don't actually take cuts. Now, did I know that when we started the pod? Fuck no. Do I now? Yes, sir.
Oh, retweet. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Retweet.
Yeah, I think what people don't understand, and we could break it down because we having a real conversation. We podding because we have a group project.
We gave out LLC details, man. Let's go.
Yeah, fuck it. All right. Oh, can we?
Stop.
I'll go for real. If let's say we make $15,000 a month. $15,000 a month. And well, I'm gonna first taxes. Cut the top off. Cut the cheese off the bread. It's taxes, right? Or cut the crust off the little taxes. Let's just say that brings you down to 13. We have, let's say, like 6 employees on the roster. 6 employees. Our payroll expenses might be half of that. So let's go. Let's cut it off. Taxes, bring it to 12. Payroll is half of that, 6. You got $6,000 to work with. I'm not gonna lie. And I know I'm gonna sound like a real capitalist. I'm better than anybody or whatever. 6,000 between 4 people is $1,500. Okay, damn, math.
No.
I'm just saying. Okay, $1,500, right? You divide that by 4, that's $375 a week. You divide that by your 40 hours, that's $9 and 40 cents. Just round that up. That's $9.40 an hour. That's not like an insane amount of money. That's definitely not an amount of money where we should be fighting tooth and nail. Because even if we change the proportions as to who gets more, this, that, and the third, that's not enough for me to be like, yo, Damo, your dumbass didn't do nothing this month. You down to 13%, nigga.
What the fuck?
I ain't gonna lie.
That's a crazy combo.
B-Souls, you kind of up, though. I ain't gonna lie. We're gonna bump you to like 61. Sage, how many pods you missed? This many. And Omar, you gonna keep your 14. Like, it just don't... that is not worth it to bust down that amount of money. When in reality, somebody should really have a conversation like, all right, dang, if we can get 6 this month, 6 next month, we should probably look at going to DreamCon, which is going to cost us 12. So that's the 2 6. That's the $6,000. And then also February is around the corner, so we might not get to the threshold to pay the 6 employees. People just don't know. People don't know. And we got a low overhead too, which is crazy because if you think about it with AMP, they got to pay for a whole house. And they got way more employees with higher salaries. People just don't know. This is a crazy conversation.
Super crazy conversation from a bunch of people who just aren't in a situation to even know what it's like to deal with that. These are people that are just clocking in and they like, "Psh, if I had a group and I was the biggest in the group, I'm getting 28%. Being honest, like, all right, buddy. Like, I guess that makes sense in La La Land.
Also, I wouldn't even want to be in a position where like I relied solely on the group channel revenue, like to make a living or whatever, because I feel like that leaves too much out of control with me. Like I'm now dependent on other people's performances, the company's performance as a whole to make a living. So maybe it's different when you're actually running like a company, but when it comes to like content creation, I want to be I want to know that I make enough money on my own to pay my own bills, so that if this group project that we have has a down month, I'm chilling. Like I'm cool. If it has a high month, that's great. But I should never rely on it so much, because again, like I can only contribute so much to the success of the company. So.
Well, so then let me ask you this. How do you feel about groups like the Deep Three? And I think Isaac is doing something. I don't know if Mojo is maintaining the channel, but what do you think about groups like the Deep Three, Sidemen, RDC, and how they handle their business stuff? Because they are 100% in the business. Like, yo, this is the main thing, and we're working on this main thing.
Well, I think the Sidemen, the individuals built their own brand maybe after like the Sidemen blew up. I know KSI was already his own thing, so I don't necessarily have a problem with them. RDC, hey, it's definitely successful. It's working right now, so I'm not concerned for them right now. But from a logistical standpoint, like I would be concerned. Just relying so much on that. Like what am I making on my own? Like what is the ownership that I have for real? If everything is just under this umbrella.
It works when you have people who are all in the same mindset and same train of thought and want that to be the case. So that's how it works for our RDC. We're talking about it working for them now, and you can say, "Oh, I mean, I will be worried." That's now. These niggas have been doing this for 10 years now. This is what they've been trained. This is what they've been doing. They was doing this when it wasn't any money, when there was a little bit of money, when the money started to go. No matter what, this has been their goal. This is what they've been doing. So it works for them. And now they're in a position where, I mean, I don't want to count their pockets, but I'm gonna assume the niggas make solid money to where they can trust doing what they're doing now. I don't know about the Deep Three's process of what they do, but again, didn't they get, I don't want to say bought out by a network, but aren't they on like they getting funded, right? Like
they got a deal that gives them some money.
Yeah, they got a bag, so they can be comfortable doing that because they got the bag from it. Hell, we talked about what would it take for Let's Keep It a Buck, and if it was X amount of dollars, so they got that, so it works for them. So for it to work, it has to be a special circumstance or a special group of people. Yeah,
no. Long story less long for me on this. I don't want to beat the dead horse, but long story less long on this. It's especially you should utilize the group project as a way to get your start. Like you should use it as a way to get the things off your plate that might, make content creation longer. Have other people to bounce ideas off of, somebody else to edit, somebody else to make thumbnails. Be able to interact with them when you're doing your content, and then hopefully because y'all are successful, y'all should be able to build this big platform, but then it in turn brings you opportunity and potential that you would never see. But for the most part, whatever money that you're generating from that, you shouldn't be looking at it as like any sort of individual type thing. Like you should dead ass say to yourself, why do we have money at the end of the month? That should be the way to do. Even in some of your own business, well, in most of your own business, but you should be saying to yourself, why do we have money at the end of the month? Did we not pay somebody? Okay, did we put everything we can back into the content? If the answer
I don't
is
even
no,
think it's a group thing. Like I think ideally you should put everything back into your, especially as a self-employed content creator, you should put everything back into your business now. Obviously, you have to set aside money so that you can take care of your personal shit to the fullest extent. Like I wouldn't cheap out on that, but yeah, you should be putting as much as you can back into the business.